that the garden we're in here, is a result of students asking questions about wanting to see change. All the best ideas come from the students, to be honest. So they were saying, I've always had a veggie bed at home with my family, but I can't do that here because my landlord won't let me. I'm the only person in my flat who does the recycling, the rest don't care. I want to compost the food waste that I do have, but my landlord won't let me build anything in the garden. So in response to them, I had some questions for uni flats around how can we support them in flats to do that. And we came up with this neighbourhood, which used to be a childcare centre, which means it's got one big communal garden with several flats round about it, and hey presto, we have the sustainability neighbourhood. There was a lot of money spent on things like double glazing, extra insulation, energy efficient heat pumps, so that they're actually quite energy efficient, but not to the extent that they're a huge step in architectural design or anything that's outside the easy scope of any landlord to achieve. Yeah, so they're quite relevant to other housing stock. They're not elite housing. I've definitely had interest from private landlord outside of the university, where if this is an attractive proposition for students, obviously it's of value to them commercially as well, but also if it's a way of setting up a flat that means it's looked after better, then it also has another positive for the landlords there. But also I guess we are a big landholder here at the university, so perhaps if there is demand for this type of accommodation, it would seem a logical thing for us to start looking at other areas we could create other neighbourhoods. What we probably wouldn't do is extend this one any bigger, because at that total of 24 people, that's probably about the right number to work as a neighbourhood and everybody to feel involved and part of that little community. So it would be more about replicating it than it would be about expanding it. We still have a couple of spaces left for next year. The way to get into the sustainability neighbourhood is everybody has to do a short selfie video that talks to why they want to be part of it and what they're going to bring to it. And it's not really like an interview, it's more just making sure that everybody's in line with the kaupapa of what we want to do here, and that seems to be working pretty well. The video is really two parts to it. What is it you're going to offer the neighbourhood, and why do you want to be part of the neighbourhood? It's not a big test, it's really just to show commitment, yeah, and quite often there's just a little sneak, it's only a 3-minute video, so it's a sneak preview into what they might bring in terms of knowledge and experience and expertise. But if someone is just I'm really committed to learning more because I don't know very much, they would equally be welcome in the neighbourhood. And one of the reflections from the residents was that, within our flat we have a broad range of hugely committed through to not sure why they're in the neighbourhood. Yeah. And that range is probably the same as in most student flats, except it's shifted along the line a little bit towards more sustainability. So it's still the same group dynamic of the range, and perhaps not everybody doing their share in the garden, or the odd person leaving the heater on for too long. But those discussions are good. That's the sort of learning, and how do you shift people towards a more sustainable average in the flat. That's what makes it relevant to transfer the knowledge. If everybody in these houses with a complete ardent sustainability radical, then it would be very hard to transfer our learning to other places. It does go back to being supportive and enabling rather than directing and ordering. Yeah, it's putting things in place and exposing people to the value that those things can offer in their lives. Telling tends not to work, and certainly when it's an old grey-haired fella telling a young bunch of students what should happen, that's not the way to go. It's about providing opportunities for peer learning, providing opportunities to experience and learn from that experience. We have not imposed any rosters, we've not said this is the way it must be organised. We've provided some resources at relatively minimal cost, with not a lot of effort, and we've given some training and support and some information, but actually we've stepped back and let the group be self-organising. Yeah, and that empowering approach, I think, is quite key to making sure that you're maintaining that social well-being, as well as perhaps hitting some of the more environmentally focused targets. And really, a lot of it is based around them being able to act on their own values, but also having a real sense of place. And there's lots of studies, and many of them are that I've seen are from student projects, that quite clearly speak to the idea that if you have more of a sense of place, the way you act in that space is likely to be more positive towards it. So being a transient, anonymous person living in a place that you don't connect to can be a bit of a license for behaviour that's not desirable. Really connecting to a place and understanding where you are and having your own, I guess, turanga waiwai, your place to stand, makes a difference as to how you act when you're here. And that's a big part of what we want to achieve here.